Welcome to the Art Lady channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to make this really adorable spring nest filled with baby birds and eggs. Stay tuned at the very end and you'll see some of my 6-year-old students' examples before they added their paint. Hope you enjoy the lesson. To start off the nest, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a black pen and sketch out the boundaries of the nest. So the first thing we're going to do is at the very bottom, we just want to leave a little bit of space in the composition at the edge because we don't want them going right off the page. So I'm just going to put a little line across at the bottom. And then I'm going to give the boundary on the sides of my nest. So I'm just going to come, say, to here, come over about 2 fingers from the edge, and on the other side of my paper, about 2 fingers from the edge, and just put a line. So that's where I want my nest to end. Those are my boundaries. Let's just lightly connect them. 1, 2. We're connecting them just kind of roughly. Just sketch it very lightly because we're going to fill this with lines of brown sticks. So this is not going to be perfectly shaped, okay? And then I want my nest to be curving a little bit down here. So I'm going to give it a boundary. So I'm going to put my finger on the page and go up about 4 fingers and put a mark. And so this is going to be my boundary. So I'm going to come over and over to the left. And I kind of slightly made it go up. We're going to add lots of texture in here for sticks. So I'm not really worried about my shape here, okay? Just so long as we have our boundaries. Now we're going to put some baby birds in our nest, eggs in our nest, and you can put whatever else you want in the nest, okay? But let's do a little baby bird to start. I'm going to start off by making a circular shape. This is starting off with the letter C. Pretty big size C, because I don't want my baby so tiny. And then the backwards curve. And then I'm just going to put the shoulders of the baby bird. We don't see lots of their body. So a line coming down and a line coming down on this side. Now if the baby bird is facing us, facing the viewer, you, he would have 2 little eyes. So let's go 1, 2, and we can add details to our eye. We can put the pupil in, which is a little black dot in the middle. And then his little mouth, which is a bird, does it have a mouth like you do? Beak. It has a beak. So to make the beak, if I do a straight horizontal line, and then if I find the center of that line and drop down straight and put a dot, I'm going to start forming a triangle. So how many sides does a triangle have?
3.
Excellent. My little friends here with me today are 6 years old. And a couple of them might be still 5. They're in kindergarten. Would you like to say hello? I've got a class in here from Florida. So there's the beak, and he's facing us, so that's the front view baby. Now we're going to make a side view baby. That's going to be the baby not looking at us, but he's going to be looking at his friend here. So let's do another circle. Now when artists make more than one thing, listen, we could add variation. That means not the same. We vary it. So if this little guy is sitting up in the nest here, maybe I have the little friend a little bit lower. That will give some interest. So instead of starting your circle high, start your circle low in the nest. Okay? And this little guy is going to be looking at his friend. Add the shoulders, 1, and then his back. And his eyes are going to be looking at this little guy. So he only shows 1 eye in profile. The side view, you only see 1. So I'm going to give a little circle here, a circular shape, and then the black dot will be toward the left side of the circle because he's looking at his friend. So I'm putting a little bit of a black spot after my circle, I put a black spot here, so it's the side view of the eye. And his beak will come out here. This is the side view of a bird. So straight out and then go back to the head. And you can even put the line at the bottom back to the head. It's almost triangular shape, isn't it? Now we can add a wing if you want, or part of the wing. Down and down. The other part's hiding in the nest. And we can add a wing here coming down. And this one we can have down and up. This one's kind of hiding in the nest here. If you made yours really tall, you might have room for both sides of the wing. Or the wing might be over the edge of the nest. Now, if you want to add little eggs to it, maybe his brother or sister has not hatched yet. So maybe you want to have a little egg peeking up. So I'm going to do a curve and a curve. A little egg peeking up here and maybe an egg peeking up here. Maybe this is, look what's going to happen here. Look what I'm going to add. Zigzag line. Uh-oh, what's happening?
It's cracking.
Ooh, someone is going to hatch. There we are. This little guy's about to hatch. Now, I want you to put your markers down for a minute. And I want you to watch me color for a second. I want to show you some techniques. Because we're going to add some brown paint to our nest. What I want to do for the nest, we're going to put some brown paint on top of this nest. That's some watercolor brown paint. But I want the texture of the nest to show through the watercolor paint. So we're going to be using some colors, and I want you to wait before you do this. I want you to watch me first. We're going to be using light colors for our sticks. And if you notice, I'm pushing really hard. So I'm pushing and adding the branches. The mother bird and the father bird built the nest one branch at a time. And so we're going to be adding branches to this. I'm drawing the lines slightly vertical. And you notice they're pretty short. Well, they're about 4 fingers wide. So I'm adding little pieces of the nest. They can go past this line a little bit because the nest is not all smooth around the edge. And I'm going to be using lots of values of color. I'm going to be using this kind of yellow-brown color called mustard. I have some brown. I'll use some really dark brown. I used yellow, so lots of different values in here. And I'm adding and pushing really hard as I go. You notice the difference. This is a light line. Let me show you a light line. That's a light line. This is a really dark line because I want the paint to resist the crayon. That means to pop off. You could even use some white because when I add brown on top, the white will actually show. So there is actually white in here. Okay? So I'll give you some time to finish that. And then you're going to color the birds. And you can color the birds any way you want to. And the little eggs you can color. I'll show you some different colors of eggs. And the eggs I'm going to actually show you right now are different values of chicken eggs, different colors from a chicken egg. But birds' eggs are lots of different colors too. So let's look at a chicken egg. And here's some chicken eggs. Look at the beautiful light blue-gray one up at the top. such a beautiful color. And then you have the different values of tans and light beiges. So you choose the egg colors that you would like. Now I've colored the bird's beak, and I'm even going to put some leaves in because this nest is in a tree. So I can even add the branch of the tree down here. I'm just going to do 2 lines to the nest and 2 lines coming out this side. And I'll color in this some brown. And the leaves, I'll show you how I make those. You can start with a straight line, and you start from one end, go up and back. One end up and back, or down and back. I make my leaves in different directions, and I make them pretty big, like that. So fill up your page with leaves. You can even add more branches to this and color them in. And then we're going to resist our nest. And now I'm going to work on, well, you work on your picture. I'm going to be working up my birds, and I'm going to choose to make these birds little blue birds. So I'm just going to add little tiny blue feathers, and I'll color in some blue on their face, and I might put some little white feathers on their face too. So you go ahead and decorate your picture, and then I'll show you how I paint this. Now that I've finished my bird, I added some little blue feathers, and then I colored in some leaves. Now I'm going to do a resist of the nest. So I'm going to do what's called a watercolor resist. Can you say resist? Resist. Resist means that the paint is not going to stay on my crayons. So I'm using some watercolor paint, and I dip in, and I carefully touch inside the dish so that it does not drip, because this is very watery. That's why it's called watercolor. And when I place it on the paper and spread it out thin, do you see how it's popping right off the crayon? It resists, meaning it does not stay on the crayons. So we're going to paint our nest, and when you paint the nest, do not leave any puddles. And puddles are the paint that piles up. So if you see big piles of thick paint, you want to spread that thin like this. You don't want to leave the puddles because it wastes the paint, and also sometimes it doesn't dry good. And then when you pick it up, it'll drip. So I'm spreading this very thin. And of course, every time you dip in, you touch the edge, and then you spread your paint very thin. Go back and forth. And I'm painting in just the nest brown. And now you can see the nest is a brown base with all the different colors of and values of the sticks that the mother bird made. So now I have a base of brown, and all the sticks show through. You like it? Okay, is everybody ready to paint? Yeah! All right. You can also use some Crayon Resist over your leaves if you'd like, with your watercolors, and that resists beautifully. Or you could even just take your watercolor paints and add some leaves to enhance your picture. Or part of the leaves, which is like a letter V. If they come off the page, you can just go down and up and fill it right in. You can bring your green even over your brown. You can see with the green, it really pops right off and resists. And any of these little puddles, I can even go ahead and add some branches with my brush here. Drawing in some more branches or another leaf if I like. But any real big puddles, just kind of pull off your page like that. And if you want to add a little bit of color to your birds, you know, whatever is up to you, how you want to finish this. You can even paint with blue or a lighter brown or even orange. A lot of times the baby birds don't have a lot of color. That's why I add a little bit of brown inside my birds. But as an artist, you can make your picture more colorful if you'd like. It doesn't have to represent exactly nature. And so that's what we're doing. We're giving it a little bit more color by putting in some of this bright blue on our birds. Sometimes the babies are born with almost no feathers. Oftentimes they are. So these could be a little bit bigger guys. There, in the nest. Or even the mom. And there you have your picture. So have fun decorating it the way you like and add your own little touch to it. This is my 6-year-old class, and the students did this in 30 minutes, and then next week we will add some more details to this and then go ahead and add our paint. But I hope you enjoy the show, and let me know in the comments what you did and how yours came out. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.